Hi, my name is Keith Slider, and I'll be covering today environmental justice in the urban core of America. And I'll be using Alice Keswan's theories to emphasize how environmental justice is absent in the urban core of America. Okay, the definition of environmental justice, according to the EPA, is the equal treatment and meaningful involvement of all people regardless of race, color, national origin, or income with respect to the development and implementation and enforcement of environmental laws, regulations, and policies. Now, uh, the identified problem that I see is that there is a lack of environmental justice within the urban core. Some of the causes of those environmental problems are old abandoned facilities, industrial facilities without mandated environmental upgrades, industrial facilities with select enforcement, underfunded remediation projects, and completely stalled out remediation projects. Now, I would like to use this time to point out how Keswan defines environmental justice. Now, she defines environmental justice as an environmental movement which focuses on how fairly environmental burdens are distributed. In contrast, market based systems seek to achieve the greatest good for the greatest number by allowing society to achieve a given level of pollution reduction at a lower cost. To achieve such economic efficiency, for some means ignoring distributional consequences. And that's a fairly long definition. Based on her theories, the ethical value conflict is twofold. It deals with both the utilitarian versus the egalitarian value systems, which basically is simplified as finding the greater good for the greatest number of people and seeking equality for all, including the disadvantaged. Now, Keswan's approach is twofold. It is a cap and trade approach versus the distributive justice approach. Keswan also offers the inherent conflicts of cap and trade with environmental justice communities, which are, as I stated earlier, the conflict between that distributive justice and the pursuit of economic efficiency, and the conflict between environmental justice goals and market-based programs is the tensions between participatory justice and administrative efficiency. Simply put, the benefit of this strategy is believed that it is to create efficiency. However, there are certain underlying causes which are still unresolved at this point. The unresolved exposure to contaminated sites in the urban core, greenhouse gases due to poorly enforced emissions and regulations. Keswan's approach is what I would call a set it and forget it process, because after the government regulator sets the cap and allocates the initial regulations, the community is allowed to decide how compliance should take place. Needless to say, regulators do not have to develop and defend specific standards, nor do they have to engage in facility-specific permitting processes. Now, some of the disadvantages are related mostly to the cap and trade portions of her strategy. Cap and trade is not always easy to administer. Several concerns are still not resolved, as I expressed earlier. One being racial equality is still a major concern. There are trade-offs with this policy. The need for real emissions reductions is still a major issue. Environmental justice is problematic, especially as it relates to the environmental approach for greenhouse gases, and cannot be changed with just environmental policies. There are still people who make daily decisions concerning environmental issues, including regulations and enforcements that ignore environmental justice concerns and justify their negligence, all due to racism. So the human element is also a factor that must be re-engineered to address environmental justice issues. Once this concern is fully addressed, Keswan's approach could be more effective. Questions? Thank you.